One of the main themes of Sefer Shmot is building a shul, a place in which to encounter HaKadosh Baruch Hu in order to serve Him. It's a major theme because it stretches over 5 parshiot in the Sefer. Truma, Tetzaveh, Kitisa, Vayakel, Pekudei. By the time we've reached our parsha of Vayakel Pekudei, we've already heard about the vision on Har Sinai that Moshe Rabbeinu received from Hashem, and now the bringing of that vision into a reality in its building. How wistful so many of us will be this Shabbat as we read these parshiot, and yet we are not in our Mikdash Ma'at, which you know is patterned after the Beit HaMikdash, which itself is patterned after the Mishkan. Because from its grand vision of Ve'asu li mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham, they shall make for me a sanctuary and I will dwell in their midst, from which we understand the greatness of the opportunity with which we're presented to have a place suffused with Kedusha, a space we can visit in order to encounter HaKadosh Baruch Hu, more so than in the rest of the world. We appreciate even better what our shul represents, even now, even on the first week that we're not able to be inside of it. But I want us to think about this, not only in a way of being baleful or sad about it, but to take great solace in the fact that, in reality, where is the Mishkan? Has the Mishkan disappeared? No, it lives in Sefer Shmot. Did Or Torah disappear? Did our shul close, as I asked at the beginning of the week? No, it just went virtual. How precious, how wonderful it was this week to gather with so many of you to say Tehillim together for Cholim in our community each night, 10 minutes after the posted time for Mincha. To hear a Dvar Halacha from Rabbi Sprung, various shiurim that Rabbi Sprung and I each gave, various meetings that took place where people could see each other, and we could picture in our mind's eye the beautiful singing and the beautiful simchas and the beautiful times we've had together and will have again yet one day in our Mikdash Ma'at. Can you imagine that in our mind's eye we know all the details of the Mishkan, and that in our mind's eye we know all the details of congregation or Torah and shuls like it? We need to carry that sense of pride, also of joy. Yes, there's a setback, to put it charitably, in our ability to be gathering together in person over Shabbat. But we're still gathering. Consider that actually there is another theme of Sefer Shmot, not about the palace in space, but a palace in time, Shabbat itself. And that theme of Shabbat actually already appears, according to Chazal, in Parshat Shmot, again toward the beginning of Parshat B'Shalach. Of course, by the end of Parshat B'Shalach, the whole story with the man is bound up with the observance of Shabbat. In Yitro, it's the Aseret HaDibrot. In Mishpatim, it's a pasuk also again about Shabbat. And then we have Truma, Tetzaveh, and Kitisa, several parshiot about Shabbat, including V'Shom B'nai Yisrael, the Shabbat. And then we open Parshat Vayakel, and what do we learn? Vayakel Moshe kol adat b'nei Yisrael, v'yomer elehem, Ela dvarim asher tzivah Hashem la'asot otam. Moshe gathers the people and tells them these are the things that Hashem has commanded regarding them. And what are those things? Shabbat. Then we learn about building the Mishkan. Chazal learn from here that the 39 chief categories of labor that were forbidden from performing on Shabbat are derived from these psukim at the beginning of Parshat Vayakel. And patterned after what? Says the Gemara at the beginning of Masechet Bava Kama on Daf Bet Amud Aleph. Says the Gemara Masechet Shabbat on Daf Mem Tet Amud Bet, and filled out by Rashi. It's the building of the Mishkan that gives us the template about what we should not do on Shabbat. These are creative acts of labor. Granted, to build the Mishkan, Hashem gave us every instruction, from the types of metals to use and the precious gems, right down to the intricacies of the types of fibers and their stitching for the various vestments of the Kohanim. And at the same time, it took our initiative and our sense, we want to build a beautiful shul for Hashem, a physical place for Hashem. Yes, friends, it matters to have a shul. It's not ideal to be a virtual shul. We are not just spirits. We have bodies too, and we need a physical place to gather. But in the meantime, let's consider that if the theme of the Mishkan was building a physical space in which to encounter Hashem, Shabbat is about a sanctuary in time, an ability to build a mikdash, a temple in time, in Zman, and to encounter Hashem through the Kedushat Zman of Shabbat. That we still have, friends, and we should hold fast to it as best we can. I know many people are thinking that it's almost ironic to be opening a parsha or several parshiot about a Mishkan when Davka, specifically this Shabbat, we can't get there. But don't think that way. Consider instead that we have to have a redoubled sense of vision. Vision past of the shul that we remember, and vision future of the great shul that we will build even bigger and better and stronger as we keep our community together at this time. Yehi Ratzon, we should be worthy of the call of the hour to withdraw into our homes and to make our homes into little mikdashei ma'at temporarily, in which to encounter our Kadosh Baruch Hu, miniature temples, and to recall also that we have to have the emunah pshuta, the simple basic faith that Shabbat reminds us that we control nothing in this world. We take our hands off the controls and we remind ourselves that Hashem, you're running things here. And we hope and pray to you that you will enable us soon to gather again b'simcha u'v'tuv levav in our mikdashei ma'at and at congregation or Torah. We will come dancing and singing back inside in order to serve you there, Hashem. Someday soon. Wishing everyone an Erev Shabbat Shalom and much Chizuk